This chilling final selfie shows two best friends hours before one stabbed the other to death. Daniel Smith had been drinking and taking drugs with Jonathan Carr, also 21, before they got into a row and Smith stabbed his friend in the chest. Jurors at Newcastle Crown Court yesterday took just 2 hours to convict the father of one of murder, as a judge warned he faces a life sentence. Mr. Carr hosted Smith and his cousin, Stephen Morrison, at his home in Deckham, Gateshead, on the evening of July 31. After Smith stabbed Mr. Carr, he fled the house, before waking up the next day and telling his mother he thought he might have stabbed his friend. After getting no answer at Mr. Carr's flat, his mother took him to a police station, where Smith told officers he wanted to know if his friend was okay. The court was told how police then forced entry into Mr. Carr's home and found him lying dead in the living room. Smith, of Wardley, Gateshead, was then arrested by police and charged with murder. After seeing their loved one's killer brought to justice, the victim's family released a statement paying tribute to the popular young man with a heart of gold. Johnny was popular and well-liked by his friends, they said. He had a heart of gold and was gorgeous with his friends, helping in any way he could. It is such a loss, and we miss him every day, his smile and his laugh. It is such a hole in our lives as we will never see him again. He was 21 and had the whole of his life ahead of him. Share this article. Share following the case. Senior Investigating Officer Detective Chief Inspector Elf Sampson said the case was tragic for everyone involved. I don't doubt that Daniel Smith cared for Jonathan, but he has refused to accept responsibility for his actions that night, she said. He stabbed his friend in the heart and then fled the address without raising any alarm, giving him no chance of survival. If he loved him like a brother, then he would have rang police that evening and handed himself in. Now he faces spending the majority of his life behind bars, and he will not be around to see his young daughter grow up. Footage shown during the trial showed Smith in an agitated state in the hour before he killed Mr. Carr. He was captured on CCTV heavily intoxicated in a local fish and chip shop, where he was arguing with Mr. Morrison and staff. The pair eventually left the shop, but further footage was also shown to the jury of Smith assaulting Mr. Morrison. Both men then went back to Mr. Carr's flat before leaving the address a short time later. It was in this 10-minute window that he was killed. Mr. Morrison was in the house at the time of the murder, police said, but all charges against him were dropped. Smith was later seen wandering about alone, at which point a member of the public called an ambulance. He was treated in hospital for facial injuries, during which he told medical staff that he had been assaulted by Mr. Carr and Mr. Morrison.